Yo, what's going on, world? It's your boy Poncho here. Welcome to episode 11 of the Encore Podcast. If this is your first time listening, this is a podcast for artists, musicians, any creative entrepreneur that wants to take their passion for music and art and turn it into a full-time business. So if that's you, subscribe, tap in with the community. I'm here today with my co-host, Cruz.
Yo, glad to be back. I was sick with COVID. I was on a little vacation. I missed 2 episodes, but I am back here again. I couldn't be happier with the guests we had back here with me today because, a couple guests. But, we got SteelyOne in the building today.
Yeah!
New Rochelle's finest, one of 914's finest. Actually, Poncho TV's most viewed episode in the old channel.
Is that facts?
That is facts, yeah. Like by a lot, too.
Yeah.
So you were Poncho TV's most viewed episode. So I'm excited to have you in the building today. How you feeling today, bro?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling blessed.
Yeah, feeling good?
Very much so
Blessed.
to be here. Very blessed.
Word.
So, real quick, could you tell the people who you are, where you came from, how you got into music, and what you do today?
My name is SteelyOne. I am from New Rochelle, New York. I am independent, international artist.
Yes, sir.
Entrepreneur, a label owner.
Okay.
And a father. Actually, a very important title for me. You said how I got started?
Yeah.
Damn. I just kind of felt like I never stopped. Like I should always just remember doing this. This is like I don't remember how I started.
Yeah.
My brother used to rap. My brother was a big inspiration to me getting into music, and then after that, I found my own crew of friends, my own family and friends. I had a big inspiration in my man Just. He was a rapper that was very, very, very talented, that inspired me and also pushed me to kind of pursue this. He passed. Rest in peace, Nove. Ever since then, it just came to a point of just me always pushing to kind of just always better, just always up the ante, man. Just try to get better, and it's kind of crazy because it's like at this point where I'm at with this shit, it kind of feels like I'm beginning again in a way.
I know what you mean.
Where does that come from, you think?
I think it comes from a place of like I've kind of got this new this newfound independence of just like kind of like doing my own thing and kind of just literally just making my own mark and not following necessarily everything that everyone else is doing and not following everything else that everybody else is kind of into and kind of just jumping into like, I don't know, like just this new entrepreneurship. Like it's just different. I don't know if that answered your question, but like that's kind of like,
it does.
You know what I'm saying?
It definitely does. And it goes into one of the questions. I was gonna ask this later in the interview, but since you brought that up, I feel like when I listen to SteelyOne's music, I feel like I don't hear mainstream. I don't hear you trying to fit in. I'm assuming that was a conscious decision too.
Well, it all depends on what part of music you listen to. But yeah, I think I'm always art first. I'm always gonna be about the art first. I'm always gonna be necessarily about what I grew up on. I grew up on golden hip hop. Like I grew up on just a golden era hip hop, 90s era hip hop. So that was just something that I was really focused on. But I'm also just I'm such a fan of the music. Like I'm a big fan of the music to the point where like I kind of feel like I adapt to a lot of different sounds, but I also still keep my same niche in who I am.
Would you recommend that other artists like do that as well, as opposed to chasing like or doing what's hot?
I would tell artists to totally focus on who fucks with them. I would tell artists to totally focus on their niche. I would tell artists to totally focus on what made, you know what I'm saying, like what works for them. Because when we go into the point of mainstream, I don't really believe that mainstream is one sound. Mainstream is just necessarily,
especially with hip hop.
Yeah, with the sound, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever sound is working for you at that point, anyone can become mainstream. Anyone can necessarily become a pop star. And it all depends on who fucks with you. And I just think people need to stop. People get so swallowed by this, this mindset of just like, yo, like, I got to get 1 billion streams, or I got to sell this much, or I got to, and people don't understand that there's a lot of ways that you got to maneuver in this game where you got to find out who fucks with you. So when it comes down to that, especially with my music, I feel like I'm so big on growth. Like I'm so big on just growing as an artist. So like, I don't think you can even go from my first project to even my latest project right now, Lost City, that's about to come out. I don't think any of them sound the same. I feel like every one of them are just a different artist. You can still, my story is necessarily always gonna be the same, but just to the point of my approach, my beat selection, my topics, just to the point, I'm always necessarily big on growth.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
I feel that. Well, you just mentioned the Lost City tapes, and you know that's something I wanted to talk on for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, sir.
That's coming out in a couple days, but this is not coming out for like about a week or two. I'm not sure when it's coming out. So by the time this comes out,
Lost City
you know, I haven't gotten to hear.
Yo,
it
I
yet,
listened to that shit already. It's fire. Go fucking run that shit up.
Thanks.
That's love. But,
I wish I heard it yet, but I have not.
Yeah.
But anything you want to speak on it? I heard you speak on it in another video, and I liked what you had to say about it on New York Sound, like you know how it used to sound in the beginning, and how you feel like the future of it maybe should, or your perspective on how it should.
It's funny.
Where you're taking it.
It's funny because like when I talk about Lost City, people it was great because I was talking to Cool Kid. Cool Kid was like, "Yo, so Lost City is kind of like." You feel like talking about like kind of like to the point of like hip hop's dead. I was like, hell no, like that's not. I'm not trying to say that. He's like, so what's your mindset? Like, what is your approach to it? Lost City shouldn't have like a negative connotation to it. Lost City is actually about us just remembering who we were and remembering the impact what New York is. And I kind of feel like there was a point in time in our career where we just kind of started following so many trends, and we were scared to just be us. Like we were just scared to just be like, yo, it's cool for these other regions to like have this right now. Yeah. We had our time. Like we are the innovators of hip hop. We created hip hop. Now it's grown. It's grown and gone so different to so many different regions. That's perfectly fine. But let's not necessarily forget who we are. Let's not forget necessarily our contact to this. Let's not forget necessarily what our impact is to it. And I kind of feel like the whole point about Lost City is just really talking to like, there's so many different New York artists that are coming up right now that are fire, and they feel like they have to maneuver or change their sound to be heard. And they're so focused on these other regions and these other places and not focusing on the people in your backyard, which don't get twisted. New York is one of the hardest places to break out.
We've had multiple artists on the show say that.
It's one of the hardest places, to the point where you need to focus on where your audience is. Even though you're from New York, if your audience is overseas, if your audience is in Philly, if your audience is in LA, you need to focus on your audience. But remember, your audience is fucking with you because of what you're doing. And people just feel like they have to change or maneuver these sounds just to be heard, and it's not true. And it's like, it's one thing if you actually like these sounds and like these different things you're doing, that's one thing. But like, it feels like a lot of these cats that sit here and do this and try to maneuver their sound to be something, and then the rest of their album sounds nothing like the single that made them pop. Yeah. And it's like, well, why did you do that in the first place? Well, I was just trying to get on, which it works sometimes, but just like, that's the big thing why I was on Lost City. And I just remember just like, I took a, cause I'm also like the theme of it was, it actually has to do with, like Eve, you know, Adam and Eve. Yeah. So the whole mindset of Lost City was kind of like to the point of like the bitten apple. The apple became New York City because we call the city Big Apple, right? So and it's like and the whole point, the reason the name of the album is Lost City, Children of Eve, is because I feel like we necessarily are the birth of that. We are the birth of this culture of hip hop that is starting to feel like people are forgetting it, and I don't want them to.
Yeah. Yeah, I like how you did the design and graffiti too, like taking it back to the roots.
Word.
Nice.
OD.
Word.
Damn, there's so much that I want to unpack that you just said.
Oh my God.
One thing I want to begin with is just like, what do you feel like building off the original New York sound looks like? Like, what do you like? How would you describe?
I think there's a lot of dope artists that. Like, cause when I say the original sound, it doesn't have to be the boom bap. Like everyone, like it doesn't have. It's not. I'm not sitting here like I don't want to be that old head dude that's like, yo, man, this is. Because me and Cool Kid always used to say that. Anyone that's on stage that says, this is that real hip hop, that means that shit's about to be trash. Like, stop saying that. I hate when niggas say that. No, this is that real hip hop. I'm like, if you fucking say that, don't tell me what the fuck is real hip hop. Just fucking do
That was the realest quote that has ever been spoken on this podcast.
Because just do. Let the audience tell you what the fuck is doing. Don't sit here and try to be. Listen here.
Yeah,
this is the real hip hop. I'm like, well then, what the? If no matter what it is, just do it, bro. Don't sit there and tell me what the fuck it's gonna be. And if I fuck with it, I fuck with it. If it's not, it's not. But when I sit here and say, it's to the point of like, it doesn't have to be boom bap. It doesn't. What I'm sitting here saying is like, there's been other artists that's birthed new sounds that are fire. Like, look, we were always talking about like A Boogie. Boogie made a dope fucking sound that a lot of artists followed after. And he's from New York, and it
feels New York,
and it feels New York. It's a dope
it's hard
sound.
To articulate why sometimes,
you feel me? But it's just a dope sound, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, even and don't get twisted. There's nothing wrong with like the drill rappers. There's nothing wrong with doing drill music. No, I just don't like when people necessarily try to throw their twist on it and make it seem like they created it. No, you're doing drill music. That's fine. Do drill music, and that drill music was from. It was based out in Chicago. Now it's over here. Even to the point of cats that are doing like trap music. All right, fine. You're doing trap music, fine. But you're from New York. Let's talk about things that's from New York. Let's break it down to the things that we're really going through. Let's not make it to say a bunch of different shit to just kind of try to fit in.
Why do you think that it's so hard to do that for artists?
Because it's so hard for us to break and so hard for us to be accepted, and we don't have the same I believe that we don't have the same community as other regions. I know that
hip hop or New York, New York or
in New York. Like in New York, I don't feel like we have the same community in a way. Like I can go. There's certain artists that are superstars in Atlanta that are like they can literally stay in Atlanta and still bubble and eat. There's cats on the West Coast that literally can stay on West Coast and tour West Coast and can eat and can survive because they're gonna get supported by their people. In New York, bro, it's such a and you could be dope in a certain region and you can kind of like stay in that region and it can kind of end there if you don't branch out. It kind of end there if you don't make those the same moves. It can also kind of end there because we don't have the same. I've noticed And then this is not all on the DJs, but I've noticed certain DJs in certain regions can like where they're sitting here and be like, oh, I know this artist, I know this artist, I know this new record he got coming out. They're like they're seeing like their ears to the street. They're actually around these people without these artists having a verified yet or having these big fan bases. Just to the point where you're seeing them ground up, and it's like you're to the point where you're even helping building these records. It's not the same. Yeah. Like it's not in New York. It's not like that. Like you got to come New York. You got to have this big following. You got to have a big buzz, and then you got to have big money behind you. And it has to push that lane. There's cats where like there's certain cats that I've never heard, but I'll go in Atlanta and everyone knows who the fuck they are.
Yeah.
Every single person knows exactly who the fuck they are. In Miami, everyone knows who the fuck this person is. This is he's rock, and he's already rubbing shoulders with big homies. He's always rubbing shoulders.
Do you think that'll ever change in New York?
It'll change once we. I think it'll change necessarily once we necessarily like really own our independence and own our sound and necessarily focus on who fucks with us.
Yeah.
I also feel like, because that's another thing with this, right? Hip hop is such a fucking It's such a relationship. Resources is everything, right? So with that said,
you mean to get on as an artist, resources is okay.
And it's also to the point where like there's so many people that kind of what I feel like in New York, so many people got to be on the same page to fuck with you. And the thing about it is like, and what I mean by that is like, someone can fuck with your music. Because I don't think at this point, especially with artists, I can speak from artists from the 9. I can speak from artists just from in the tri-state area. I don't think music's becoming the issue. There's dope music. Like there's a lot of fire music. There's a lot of artists with fire music. That's not the. I don't think that's the problem. I think it's to the point of: do you have the following? Do you have the resources? Do you have the support?
What context are we talking about? We're talking to like just get on as an artist.
To get on as an artist.
So music is not the issue.
I don't think music's the issue. I don't think music's the issue because, and when I say that, it's to the point of like artists that are fire. Like there's a lot of artists that are fire that just don't have the resources or the big enough following to get there. There's a lot of like I saw artists necessarily that were bubbling in the streets. And we're sitting here hitting up our DJs like, yo, play that. DJs like DJs that are on like, yo, you got to play this record. This record's the hottest record in the street. And DJs are like, I only play the hottest shit. And I never heard about it. And I'm like, I only play the shit that's pumping in the club, pumping in the streets and pumping in the clubs. And they're like, well, no, you're not because this is what it is right now. And it took someone up here to play it where it's like,
out of that neighborhood.
Oh, all right, I'll fuck with it. Meanwhile, in other cities, I'm literally seeing in Atlanta. If they fuck with this record and they already there's a certain side that's fucking with this record, this record's gonna ring off in the club.
So do you think that it would be a better route to not try and get in the traditional way, like going through the industry, DJs, all that shit? Either take a different route or just say, nah, I'm not doing the New York thing. It's not possible. Go somewhere else.
I don't think that's one thing I'll sit here and say. I don't think anyone can necessarily come and say, yo, I don't think anyone can necessarily come and say this way doesn't work or that way doesn't work. I don't think we're able to call this game like that because
too many lanes right now.
There's so many lanes, there's so many things that could work. You don't know what can work. But I will sit here and say that when it comes to our community, there's a reason why there's so much when it comes to new artists coming out of New York, which I'm like, let me also, like, because I don't want to put my foot in my mouth. There have been lately, let's say in the last 5 years, there's have been a lot of New York artists coming out and submerging and breaking through, but still somewhat regional, but still breaking through and doing way more than it used to be. Yeah. But still at the same time, we don't have we're not getting the same support as other players. And I just think another reason why is because it's hard for us to stick together. Like it's hard for us to like kind of like support each other and stick together, and it's hard for us necessarily when it comes to like these DJs or these blogs it's kind of hard to just really, if you don't already have this big following, if you don't already have to the point where you're undeniable, it's not gonna work. And in my perspective, and the reason why I say that is also because I focus on the fan base that fucks with me, which this is a lesson I really had to learn to the point of like, I had to focus on the people that fuck with me. I had to focus on where I'm getting the love at and stop focusing on the people that don't fuck with me. And once you're able to do that, you're able to start to see like, all right, these are the people that are fighting for you. These are the people that are feeding you. These are the people that are necessarily fuck with your music. Focus on that. And 9 times out of 10, if you focus on them, you're going to grow from them. Your people's gonna speak for you. That's how you're gonna grow. You keep trying to get to the gatekeepers and trying to get to these. They're not gonna be able to do nothing until your people do it for you.
When you say focus, are you really talking about more creatively, like really feeding them the things that they're looking for? Or do you mean also like marketing or like touring in those places, or kind of all those things? Like
I feel like touring in those places. I feel like also focusing on necessarily. The music, like the music that you make. Sometimes we'll make a certain type of record to fit a certain type of crowd to kind of like break through. Sometimes us artists always think like, yo, I'm gonna make this type of record, and this record, even it could be fire record, this is gonna get me there, right? But let's say your fan base doesn't fuck with that. Let's say your fan base is not really on that, right? And you still try to branch out and kind of try to do that record. Meanwhile, these niggas was with you from the mud, and we've been fucking with you doing this. This is what we fuck with.
And if they're thirsty for something and you keep giving something that they're not there, you're gonna lose those people by the time you even get.
Why do I need to try to branch out here and go out here where I don't know what the fuck is gonna happen? Why don't I focus on the people that are fucking with me? Why don't I make the music I've been fucking with? And that doesn't mean you can't be diverse. That means you can't do other records, but just focus on the people that are fucking with you and use that to get to the platforms you need to get to. Because in all honesty, no one's gonna deny you once you have a following.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it just comes down to draw. Because money, right? This is the business, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, hey, like if I could sit here and sell 500 to 1,000 tickets every time I fucking rock, It don't matter. They can sit here and say they don't want to play my record or nothing. Every venue is gonna fuck with me if I can sell these tickets out. It doesn't matter what the fuck I'm doing. And that's all. And that's what us artists got to focus on. We got to focus on where our true fan bases are. We got to focus on who our true fans are. And like I think that's where we kind of get misconstrued.
Damn, what's really interesting about you, and you know, you had a big fan base out in Asia, right? So you were touring out there for 5, 6, I'm not sure how many years.
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. So it's
keep going.
Yeah, for sure. So if you want to speak on like how you initially got that audience out there, how you like kept targeting them while you were out there, and maybe just navigating that international space where there might be a language barrier or something that like, you know, people would expect or be hesitant to target fans out there.
Truly,
you had a you know,
truly a language barrier. That is pretty hard.
Yeah.
So so there's an artist named Dawagi. Dawagi is he was a pretty big artist in Taiwan. My man named Andy Rowe was cool with Dawagi. Dawagi was looking for someone to necessarily help him with some records because he wanted to cross over and do American record. Like he wanted to do an English album. He was trying to find someone to help him write and also write some shit for him. Andy brought him to me. Also, just keep it a billion. The people that Andy was bringing them to, they were like, "Yo, I'll charge you," like just trying to charge him a lot of money. And meanwhile, I'm just a hungry artist trying to get on. Yeah, I pen that shit for you, like for the low. I don't give a fuck. Like I'm just trying to listen. So I penned the shit for him. So the record comes out. What I didn't realize is who was featured on the record. What made the record big was Nas. So he had Nas featured on the record. So like this is him speaking in English, and he has Nas featured on the record, and this record like it went. That shit popped off. So Andy was like, "Yo, you should send your music out there too. I got a couple DJs that I fuck with that can get it popping." One DJ was this kid named DJ Famous. They had this thing where to the point where like the top 100 songs that they would play, like hip hop songs. I sent one of my records out there. I remember it was a record called "I Need That." It stayed on the top 100, like number 3 for like 3 months. So then they flew me out there. I was opening up for Dawagi. Once I was opening up for Dawagi would just bring me to these different cities from like from Tainan, Taipei, Kaohsiung, like these different spots. And then my next year I came out there. I didn't need to open up for Dawagi. They was fucking with me.
Word. And
one thing I'll sit here and say about them is that they're so infused in the culture. Like they're so into the culture where it's to the point where like this is a true art form to them. So it's not so much about like the politics or the popularities. Like I did a writing conference out there, and I was like, "Yo, tell me who your top 5 rappers are." All right, and this is like 2014,
you said
15.
A writing conference?
Yeah, writing conference.
Yeah, like a music right?
Yeah, because I wrote for a big artist out there, so they're like, "Yo,
it's kind of fire."
Huh?
It's kind of fire.
Yeah, so they was like, "Yo, you show us how to write." Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and the crazy is, I had to write, and then I would have to have someone translate it for me, right?
Okay, word.
So we're out there, and they're like, who's like? I asked them like, who's your top 5? And so like, this is like 2014, 2014, and like, Drake is already who he is, Cole's who already is, Kendrick, all the, like this.
Yeah.
So I'm like, who's your top 5? They're like, Pharoah Monch. I'm like, what, nigga? These kids is like 15, 16 years old. How the fuck do you know who Pharoah Monch is?
Who else they said?
They said Pharoah Monch, Snoop Dogg, Public Enemy, fucking, what's the name? They said, fucking, oh my God, why is this leaving my head?
Those are interesting choices either way. You could leave it at that.
He just passed. Doom.
Okay, word.
So I'm like,
okay, word.
So I'm like, you don't know about Drake? He was like, oh yeah, we know fucking Drake. That's Drake May. He's like the Hotline Bling guy. And I'm like, yeah, but no, he's more than a Hotline Bling guy. He's Drake. Like he's like, we know who he is, but like, yeah, that's dope. Like he's a superstar. Like that's what's up. And I'm like, but like that's not like he wouldn't be in your top 5. He's like, no, he's amazing, but like this is what we're like. We like these artists. We love that too. But and it was weird to me because I'm like, how do y'all know this? Like, how do y'all know that? But meanwhile, I'm looking at kids wearing bear jackets and Timberlands. Why the fuck would you wear bear jackets and Timberlands in a 73-degree area? Because they're in the culture. They're so into it. They're so into just what hip hop was. So they're looking at I'm like, first of all, like I haven't seen a bear jacket since I was in fucking middle school. But like, I'm like they're into just this '90s culture. They're into hip hop from like a whole another mindset of it, and like that showed me like once I was able to branch out, I was able to see like, all right, once you can break out and necessarily see how far your music can go, and necessarily break into the point of seeing who's really, really consuming your music, it's amazing to see how like the things that you thought wasn't like, you know, could we create this with a pen and a pad or just being like just being in the studio? It's crazy how you see how other people digest your music and able to just like take their own imagination with it and take their own, you know what I'm saying, their own trips with it. And it was something that kind of impacted me a lot.
Damn, that's beautiful, bro. Damn, that's so awesome that you could build a fan base out there, bro. That's so unique. Like, while you were traveling out there, especially somewhere that's like unfamiliar and that you don't understand the culture or language, obviously, or as much as you would like to, like, how did you maximize your time out there? And how do you maximize your time while you're on tour or traveling in general? Like, if you have downtime, how would you suggest touching down with people that you don't already have?
So the first couple times I went, I was dolo. So I went dolo and
completely
totally dolo.
Totally dolo.
I literally took a shot in the dark. I think I went to a whole nother country. I could have got clapped. Anything could have happened to me. Like, I don't know what the fuck was gonna happen. But this was really one of those like, I got an opportunity, and I've been rapping around here all my life, and I've been seeing the same exact fucking results. I got a shot. I'm taking it. Like, fuck it, I'm out. And once I found that niche, I just kept going hard at it. That wasn't the first time I did that. I did that also with South by Southwest, but to go overseas, that was the first time. But something that helped me, I had a great support system. Shout out to my daughter's mother. She held my daughter down for like a month, and like it was very hard because like just being away from Harmony was like, it was hard for me because it's just to the point where like I wasn't like that much new of a father. Harmony was like maybe she was like maybe 5 or 6. But just being away for a whole entire month was just like, yeah, that shit was like, it was heavy. It was hard for me to do. But I had a great support system with them, my bros, calling my peoples. I remember my first show I did, my very first like dolo show that I did, and we sold it out. It was in a club called Club Lava. And I did, it was the club only fit 600 people. And I sold it out. Sold it out dolo. And I did it. I remember getting off the stage and calling my peoples. And meanwhile, it's like, what? It was 3 in the morning where I'm at. So it was 3 p.m. where they're at. And I'm hitting these niggas up and they're all on the block. And I'm like, nigga, I just sold out a fucking show in fucking Taiwan, nigga. And niggas like, what? And I'm like, this, I got the camera like this. And they see all these people. And like, I'm so hyped just because my niggas never seen no shit like that. Like, my niggas never seen nothing like that. This is still, you know, big niggas still that always motherfucking go to 3 different places to get a meal and fucking come to the block and chill out. Just sold out a spot. And niggas is like, yo, like, how far is it, nigga? I'm about to pull up. Like, nigga, I'm 200,000 miles away, nigga. What do you mean you gonna pull up? Niggas ain't got no trains. I'm getting off the fucking phone with you, nigga. What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? But like, I'm sitting here like, nigga, like, that was something that was a big impact to me, to show niggas on the block that's sitting here and seeing like, yo, this nigga just went across the world to do some shit that we made here. That shit was everything. That shit, you couldn't, yeah. I couldn't beat that.
Exposure's important. I'm starting to learn that.
Very.
Yeah. You can't be what you can't see.
Yeah.
Something you mentioned in another interview was that every time you went out there, you sort of seemed to build on your audience that you already had. And a lot of that came from like dealing with the same promoters. So like, what does dealing with the same promoters look like? Like, how do you maintain relationships? How did you form that initial relationship? And
the reason why I dealt
why
with
did they trust you?
The reason why I dealt with the same promoters in Taiwan, it was because that was the same people that was rocking with Dewagi. So it was easier to do that. But then we also branched out from that, because I did Taiwan 4 times. Cool kid, I did Taiwan what 4 times. Which time did you come with me? It was the third time. So no. So I did. Yeah. So no, you did. You came with me 2015. 16. So 2016. So then I did it 4 times, and then you came.
I heard 15 in another interview.
Either way, one of them.
But it was from him. So.
I can't front. Like shit, I don't remember. To be big, you to billion with you.
Okay.
But it was 2015 when Cool Kid came with me. 2015. That was like that was the last time we no hell no in 2015 because it couldn't have been 2015 because then we came back and we did what's the name 2017. Either way, the last time say the question again because I totally forgot. Say the question again.
Keeping a promoter, like how'd you maintain the promoter, especially an overseas promoter, but also local promoters? Like how do you maintain relationships? How do you build relationships with promoters?
So with that said, the reason why I was bringing up to the point of Cool Kids was once necessarily you can show a consistent draw, it's not about keeping a promoter. It's just to the point where like it's a simple thing. You have a fan base, they want to fuck with you. But another thing also about it is you also have to necessarily pay attention to when are the times to go out there. When necessarily, like if you have a video coming out or anything to the point of album coming out, and you're sitting here like, all right, I need to catch on fire real quick, all right, and I know that I'm gonna drop this. I'm necessarily gonna drop a project 2 months from now. I'm hitting up because I'm booking. Literally, I'm my own booking agent. Even though, meanwhile, they don't know that because I'm like, yo, contact my manager. Meanwhile, I'm my manager. I'm the one on the email, like, yo, yeah, still.
So like over email type shit,
everything, and like, cause bro, you're a starving artist. Yes. You gotta fucking make this shit work. And I'm not gonna front. It does look very like in your mind, you think it looks very unprofessional to necessarily be representing yourself, right? So in all honesty, a lot of times when I necessarily had to do that, I would sit here and talk to the guys, but yo, well, just hit my manager. Have them email me. I would write necessarily back. We would go through the logistics then. And a lot of times it's keeping those relationships because, resources and relationships are everything. And we even did the same thing when we started going to Poland. Like, once we deal with the same people all the time. Shout out to Fresh and Dope. We always dealt with the same people because, they showed love. They believed in you. That's all you necessarily need at that point. And then from that, it can grow from there. But yeah, I've always kept those same relationships. Relationships in this game is everything.
Facts. Yo, you said something I want to hit on. You're talking about planning out like your moves with the release and things like that. Can you just talk about making a plan? Like in that context, and we talked about this on the Casket interview too. Like so many artists just wing shit. Like, can you talk about how you actually go about making a plan, a release plan?
I was definitely one of those artists that wing shit until I met Sean. So,
shout out to Sean.
I was somewhat. If you don't know Sean, Sean's the only other person in my clique that's either taller than me or the same size as me.
Like, both big as hell.
Yeah, Sean's just the other big dude. Very smart dude. Sean turned a dream into a goal. Like what he did is he disciplined ourselves and necessarily broke down exactly and made exactly necessarily the steps of what we need to do. Like the first thing Sean would always say is like, yo, what do you want to do? Like, what's your goal? Like, well, I want to make money off of music. All right, well, what do you like that's an easy thing to say. Fine, you want to make money off of music. What are you going to do? What are the things that's going to make you money off of music? All right, merch, shows. Okay. How can we get merch and shows? Like, what do we need to focus on getting to the point of merch and shows, right?
So digging deeper, just
breaking down and like literally breaking down things to the point of steps and necessarily how we Sean's like trusty like ally as a fucking board. If Sean has a board, he can draw a map to anything. Like literally, he will literally sit here and break down every step of what the fuck you have to do, and to the point where like. He just caught, and the crazy thing about it is every time you kind of drift off of it, he's always like, yeah, but remember this. We got to come back to this.
Okay,
but I'm like, I want to, I know, but you got to do this, right?
That's major.
So he always kept us necessarily focused on that. And when it came to us releasing, us putting out music, us doing us putting out any type of content, he would just break it down into steps where consistency was the biggest thing. And I think that's something where artists we fuck up at is like, we sit here and put something out. We're tired of it. We've lived with it.
Type shit, yeah.
We've
heard it 100 times.
At this point, I fucking hate it. I don't like it no more. But they haven't got it yet. And as artists, you always got to remember, you're ahead. You're always ahead. Like you always have to remember how ahead you are. You're always ahead of everything. So that means like when I drop something, I'm 10 steps ahead of that artist, the artist that you think I am. Like even though I just dropped this right now and you think this is dope, I've been past that. But I'm tired of that, but they haven't got that. And I think what he helped us do is just always be consistent on dropping and necessarily our content and making sure that we stick on what we said we were going to do. Because other than that, I was definitely one of those artists that just throw shit the fuck out there. Like I was, I was at a point I was almost
I just want to say this. That's so major. Sean, shout out to you. Yo, it's so rare that like there's someone that actually holds people accountable.
No,
so like that's
for sure.
that's fine.
And it'll make you think to the point where it's like, how are we gonna reach this exact point? Like step by step. Like what does that look like? So yeah, facts. So you know, you don't have a manager really on your team, right? Like you really.
If I would say I have a manager, it would be Sean.
Yeah, but you don't.
Other than that, no.
That label is not super important to it. It's just like, you know.
Every time I looked into necessarily having a manager, I've always noticed that I knew more than they did, and they didn't have as much resources as I did. So I didn't have time to teach them while I'm trying to. What's the name? So it made no sense.
For sure. Like if you have the time to put towards it, then it's like, what do you?
So I couldn't do it because at this point, a manager. Especially for an artist that's been independent, if you are gonna have a manager, it'd probably be mostly for the resources. It'd be mostly for the resources because let me not speak for other artists. For me, I feel I know my brand and my team knows my brand well enough. So if it is gonna be a manager, it would be more for the resources. It would not the like building infrastructure. I was looking at getting a manager for like helping build the Encore business and shit, but we realized timing wasn't right, but to me that was more important than resources. But I guess for everyone it's different. Yeah, well, for artists, resources are everything. Yeah, we're always on what's next. We're always trying to figure out what's the next step because like once again, like I was saying before, I don't think, and it's not to like sound cocky, but like I don't think music is the issue for a lot of artists once because they're true to it and they've really been doing what they're doing and they have a fan base. And it's more about exposure. It's more about getting to certain platforms. It's also more about having the knowing who you're knowing better and efficient ways to get to your audience, and being able to really maximize off of that. I feel like that's one of the biggest things for artists nowadays. And I feel like either resources or resources is something that can help you get there, and also just having the right team behind you.
That's why. Yeah, you sent me an email the other day.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the blast.
Yeah.
I did send you a blast.
Direct to consumer. I like it. I respect it.
And you know where the idea came from?
What's that?
Sean.
That's crazy.
I don't know shit about emails.
Facts. Damn.
The first time I ever wrote no, that's not the first time. But still.
You know what I just remembered right now? I'm sorry, this is so off topic.
Yeah.
That's all right.
It's fine.
Yo, remember when we were doing the last interview and right before you sat down, you were like, I'm not sitting in that fucking chair.
Yeah.
I just remember that right now.
I don't trust any chair.
What kind of chair was it?
It was like a flimsy ass like white chair. G, you remember that chair?
I don't trust
I'm sorry, I just
you guys
remember
have
that
no
right
idea what it is to be a big person. Like you can't trust anything with legs. Like you can't.
The trampoline's got you.
That's fucking bullshit.
It's not. I tried.
You want a trampoline to die today? That's on you.
It's like a 3 foot wide trampoline.
It's a sport trampoline, bro. I know.
I don't know.
I know it'd be good.
You want to have something crazy? Right now, I can hear Sean thinking. You know what he's telling me? I know there's some things I'm doing good, but there's some things I'm not doing good.
Damn.
About your interview right now?
Tell you right now.
Where does that come from, bro? That's interesting. Like,
Sean, is that true?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it like, if I'm like 70-30? Or like, is it like 70 good, 30 bad?
No, 90-10, you're getting better.
You're getting better.
90-10.
Starting
90-10.
though, slow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Damn.
Huh?
I think you fucking up.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool kid always think they'll fuck it up.
Damn, word.
Yeah.
That's dope you have that though. Like
I
you
don't
have
know how I know
that
this, nigga.
voice on your shoulder. Like even if you're not looking to it, be like, yo, you could be doing this. I feel like that's a really healthy thing to have.
Can I ask something real quick?
Yeah.
Do you think artists should look for that?
What?
A Sean.
Always.
Yeah.
Like should like actively search.
Because we're too emotional.
Yeah.
We're too into our music. We're too close to it. And we need someone to necessarily level it and kind of bring it to like the bottom line, to the point. And you also need to, but don't get it twisted, like you need a Sean, you need a cool kid, you need a what's the name, because you need someone to balance it out and kind of tell you when you're wrong and like, nah, that's stupid. I don't think that you should work. I don't think that's gonna work. But then also you got to check them too, because sometimes them motherfuckers.
Do you mean Sean and Nicole get in the roles of like marketing and artists, or just people that hold you to accountable?
People that hold you accountable, but also like marketing and because the thing about it is like the shit is different now, bro. Like we have to do so much as artists now. Like we're like you have to fucking be everything. Like you have to be. You have to be the promoter. You got to be the rapper. You got to be the fucking the tour manager. Like you have to do so much shit. You got to be fucking a designer. You got to be like it's so much shit that goes into it. So like and then the other thing about it is like someone to kind of show you like, yo, bro, there are results. Like you did just this. You caught a win. Nah, man, it was supposed to be like this. Nigga, do you remember you was just complaining about this? And you're like,
that's me and Gianni's entire relationship,
bro. Real shit. You need someone. Yo, I said to Sean on something.
G shout out.
What was the shit I said to you, Sean? I said, yo, if I don't get fucking 5,000 views on this video, then it's fucking over. Huh? It was Nareem. I was like, yo, if I don't get fucking 5,000 views on it, I'm just praying that it'll get 5,000 views. That's it. I'm like, if I don't get 5, because this is one of those last videos. I'm like, fuck that. If niggas don't show no love to my bro and how much pain we put into this shit, fuck this shit. And I'm like, I'm sitting here arguing about 5,000 views, 5,000 measly views, and we surpassed that. But the funny thing about it is like, something came out the other day and I was like, yeah, you got 5,000 views, it's cool. And he's like, wow, that's cool. He was just bitching about 5,000 views. And you and he also put it in perspective, was like, the views meant nothing compared to the people that came up to you and said, yo, this shit was hard.
That's
fuck with you.
That's a fact.
That shit means everything to me.
Yo, sometimes I'm not gonna lie, like I felt it a lot more when I did the Poncho TV shit, and sometimes now I'm like, yo, this podcast, like, and then someone be like, yo, I really learned some shit from that last episode, and I was like,
I told you not to fucking end that podcast.
Look.
And I told you because I said you had something special. And I'm like, I dead ass said it to him. He was like, and like, he wasn't trying to hear shit I was trying to say. We was like, cool, yo, we was like cool kids listening party, right? I'm like, yo, bro, you got something special. Yeah, I know. I'm not doing it. I'm like, nah, but bro, it's like, it's dope. You can do both. Yeah. I'm not doing it. I'm like, word. And he literally walked away from the conversation. I'm like,
I didn't walk away.
You walked the fuck away.
That is not true.
He was like,
no, that's
well,
not.
Fuck it.
No, that is no. That last part is not true.
Don't edit that shit out. That's true. Don't edit that shit out.
I wrote like a whole paragraph. Wow, y'all podcast that last one, especially one with Doo Doo Boy. I wrote you a whole paragraph. You were like, yeah, thank you, bro, but this is not it.
Yo, and this was
I was
totally
like, oh, but this is fucking
because
it.
the thing about it is, and this is the thing about it is like, yo, you think you can't be more than one thing. You can be all of them. You can be all of them, bro. Like any person that says that is because they're trying to box you in because they're mediocre. Because they can't do two things. You can do every single thing you want. Yo, bro, you gave a platform for artists to be honest with you and open with you because you're an artist. Because you understand it, so we're able to talk to you that way. We don't feel like you're trying to just get some shit out of us and make us feel stupid because I know you relate. So I feel comfortable speaking with you. I feel comfortable talking to you. So that's where you're created. And then you're also an artist. So you can do all this shit all at once. Don't sun yourself because niggas can't fucking step up to the, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's stupid.
You have a healthy or a good contribution to like the episodes. Like I watch a lot of interviews with people and like they're getting interviewed by people who have like no relationship to the industry, but they want to be an interview host. And it's like, unless you have some sort of grounding in it, like it's very hard to be a good host. And I think you do a fantastic job. And I'm hoping I'm starting to get better at it.
Nah, I'm not gonna front, bro. It's warm. I feel comfortable speaking about it. And also, with this shit, especially when it comes to this music shit, it's so many people that are in the music industry that has nothing and doesn't give a fuck about the music. There's too many people in the music industry that, in all honesty, and those are the people that are always telling you need them. Like, yo, you need us. We're gonna get you this. We're gonna get it here. You don't even give a fuck about the music. The only people that really give a fuck about the music is the creators and the fans. Everyone else and when I say creators, that could be people that do videos, DJs, rappers, singers, artists, fashion, any people that actually give a fuck about the culture and what's going on, they give a fuck about this. But if you're not in that and you're just trying to make $1, yo, bro, you're a suit. I'm sorry. This is my daughter.
Feel that
I gotta
100%.
pick this up. Hi, I'm actually on a radio
Am I just
interview.
a suit?
My fault.
Nah, you're not a suit.
No.
Nah, because you fuck.
It's
with
all
me.
right.
All right, yeah, you're not a suit.
You all right, my bad, guys.
All good. All right.
I'm a dad.
All right, we out here.
Okay. Mr. Steele. Oh, wait, do you want to go first?
No, wait. All right, so something that we were talking about, something that we were just talking about right now. That's a little derivative side step of it is like, you know, taking feedback from people that are in your life and just navigating like how do you work your creative process around the fact that like sometimes you're not going to be getting the support that you want. So like you've had like a pretty decently long career at this point. So it's like at times where you haven't seen like the upgrowth that you would expect, how do you navigate like changing your creative process around that?
I've noticed that most of the time when I feel like I'm not getting what I want out of my music or I'm not moving, it's because I'm too focused. I'm too busy paying attention to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And once I close that out and go into the point of what I do and just focus on creating and focusing on the music, everything else just kind of comes into place. I've always noticed when I'm necessarily thinking that I'm doing bad or not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, it's because I'm focusing on other people. And I'm starting to, what happens is like this clock comes behind you and you start to hear it and you feel like, yo, why am I not doing this? This is not happening. This is not going. And what the fuck? And you start to forget all the different things that you actually did accomplish. And I've noticed every time I'm doing that, I'm not focusing on music and I'm not being creative. And I'm not, like, it's not, everything's not coming to me. The flows are not coming to me. The beats are not coming to me. Nothing's coming to me because I'm not allowing it to come to me. I'm actually blocking all of it.
Self-talk.
Yeah, I'm actually literally destroying all of it before it can come to me. And then what happens is I get inspired. I'll get inspired by something and I'll get inspired by, and I'll just fall back in love with music. Before anything, I'm a fan. I'm like a big fan of music. And I think that's what helps me. Like there's so many times that you don't even know it. It's prick. But this guy, fucking cool kid. There's so many times a cool kid will come in and literally make some shit and he doesn't even know that this nigga just saved me. I'm like, oh my God, nigga, this shit. It just like, and the thing about the dope thing about what like having like a younger dude on your team and having and kind of helping him get to where he wants to go is that he doesn't even well, I think he knows who he is now, but like he didn't even know who he is or how dope he is, and you're starting to see him fall in love with it the first time, and you're like, oh shit, nigga, I remember that. I remember when I was smelling myself, nigga, and I just came in here and made some ill shit, and like niggas is not fucking with me, and you're like, yo, I remember that, and I remember that because it's like it was a feeling, it was a nostalgic feeling, and then I'm able to fall back into my pocket and fall back into my place where I don't give a fuck about nothing, and I just want to create, and once I'm doing that, then everything falls into place. If I'm not doing that and I'm focusing on other things, and the things that you're focusing on is you're focusing on other people moving, and you're like, damn, did I do something wrong? Did I take the wrong step? Did I miss my shot? Did I not? Meanwhile, you're in your shot. Mm-hmm. You're actually in your realm right now.
I used to feel that way, and I hate that. I hate admitting this. I used to feel that way when I would see like my producer homies get placements when I was producing heavy, and I'd just be like, fuck. And just start thinking, but yeah. I know what you mean.
And once you, but the whole thing about it is once you stop fucking like focusing on that and just do it, everything starts to click.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything definitely starts to click. Like, bro, like I'm sorry, like I know, like, and that's the thing about it. Like, I don't think the problem is. I know I'm dope. I know my peers are dope. I know people around me. I know I can make music. I know that's not the issue anymore. The thing about it is. How much can I take this? What's the furthest I could take this? And how much can I necessarily beat myself? How can I keep beating every you know what I'm saying? How can I keep like beating who I was yesterday and being better at it? And then also it's about like, because like the thing about it also is that music, especially with the music business, you gotta really start to digest and understand that it's not always about the music. Yeah. Like that's the thing about it. Like, yo, bro, this song's not fire. This song is super fire. I just don't want you to sing it. This song is super dope. I just don't want you to be in the video. This song is amazing. I just don't want you to have it. Cause it's not just always about the music. It's about like sometimes it's just about it's more like I saw this on Twitter one time. And it was ill because he didn't ask it right, but I knew I could have said it better. Because he said, there was this tweet was like, yo, is it better to be nice or is it better to be relatable?
Definitely relatable.
And I was like, and it fucked me up because I'm like, word? And he was like, yo, would you rather be nice or would you rather be relatable? And I'm like, and you got to think about it. You being nice sometimes, you being talented, actually can play against you. You know why? Because if I don't like you and you're talented, but I don't like you and you're an asshole and I can't fuck with you, fuck you. I don't want you to win. Nigga, I'm not doing that. But the person that's relatable and I can, because there was times that I would write some shit. I would write a ill nifty bar, right? I'll write some ill shit, like literally double entendre, triple entendre, something that's fire, right?
Yeah.
A bar that's hard. Then meanwhile, I can write something that's just real life, some real pain I'm going through. And niggas will feel that bar way more than they're gonna feel that.
I am not surprised.
They're gonna feel that bar like, nigga, I'll live this. This bar that you said, wow, you just found a dope way to say something.
Yeah,
that's dope.
Yeah.
That's really ill.
Damn, yeah.
But they can see themselves in the other bar.
That pain,
Word.
that shit right there. Oh, I'm ready to tattoo this on me. This speaks to me. This is my life. And it's like that sometimes. And this is in the whole package of that. Like when it comes to, it's not always about the music. So once you get to the point of knowing like, yo, I can make dope music, right? I make dope music. So understand this. You reached the point where you know you can make dope music. Now, your fans, are you relating to your fans? Are you opening to your fans? Does your fans know you? Do your fans feel like they can sit there and be like, yo, nigga, this shit that you said on this album right here, on this record right here, bro, this shit that you said about this right here, bro, this is my life. You spoke to me without you even knowing you spoke to me. This is my life, nigga. Like, I don't give a fuck with anything. You're my guy because you spoke to me when no one else saw me. That's the shit that this is about. And we have to find ways to tap into that and understand that those are the people that are gonna keep you afloat. Those are the people that's gonna ride for you. That's what I feel a cult following is. Because I'm a big J. Cole fan. And I'm a dream villain. So like Cole, fuck you, nigga. Cole's the nigga. I don't give a fuck what you say. Cause now I'm not even fighting for his last couple albums. I'm fighting for, nigga, you let me in. This is my man. Fuck everything you gotta say, nigga. I'm riding for you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you say because you've spoke to me in my life. Same thing with Jay-Z, same shit with Kanye, same thing with Drake. Like these artists, Biggie's my favorite rapper ever. These artists gave me an experience and helped me grow from it where like no one can tell me different. Even if you put out a dud. Even if you put out some whack shit, publicly I ain't gonna say it. I'm not gonna say the shit was the best shit, but publicly I'm like, it's cool. Yeah. I'm gonna go home. My nigga, why you do that shit? Like I'm gonna be mad, but you let me in. I can't, like that's what this shit is about, bro.
Shit. All right.
Clip. There's
Yeah,
like four
there's
clips.
a lot
in
of
this
like
shit.
in my
that
mind.
was
I'm just
fire,
going through
bro.
like I'm gonna clip that up. So I did something different for this podcast.
Ooh.
I was exploring Mr. Steele's Twitter.
Oh, that's the worst thing to explore.
Yes.
Why do so many artists? Every time artists say that, it like you've done something similar, not necessarily explicitly, but like it always goes well. So don't worry.
Yo, can I
facts.
ask you something? Just on some other shit with Twitter.
What up?
Was Twitter always porn? There's mad porn on Twitter.
No, I think because you can't do it on Instagram. You can't do it.
Mad porn on Twitter.
I think
You
it's
do it
just
on
because it's.
Reddit.
Yeah, but like you don't go to Reddit for.
You could.
Yo, I'm scrolling.
You definitely could.
Yo, I'm scrolling down and I'm like, bro, like I'm in places like that, like I'm in fucking CVS, right?
Yeah.
You like who?
And I'm like, oh shit! And I'm like, and then you ever turn your phone off, but the sound's still on? I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
I think.
When did that happen?
I think when OnlyFans got lit, because people use like Twitter to promote their OnlyFans and shit.
Yeah,
So
audience,
This shit gets crazy, and I'm like, when did this? I'm like, I've been on Twitter before. You see your breast hair, you see ass hair. Niggas got full porns, like niggas got full videos. Niggas is like, what the fuck is going on? This shit's
So
different.
that's not what I was exploring, but I did find a couple other gems in here. So Damn, you kind of answered some of these. I want to read this one out loud. I've been on 4 overseas tours, been to the Grammys, Ghost wrote, and been a part of records with legends. But as soon as you get a chain, niggas take you serious.
Yo.
I was like, is that
That's a fucking that's a fucking fact, nigga. Yo.
Can you
I'm weak.
explain the inspiration of this tweet?
Because and like, yo, on some real shit, bro, like that makes me think of a Jay-Z bar. Like, I can't even explain why I keep buying fancy things. what was that bar? But nah, it's crazy because it's like the impact and things you do. Like, you be around your peoples, right? And like, you know, you've done a lot of different things that other people are proud of, right? And other people fuck with, right? I come from the jeweler and niggas is like, nigga, you made it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I made it now. So these other tours I was on that in, nigga, that shit is like, and it's because the crazy thing about it is like, it's so deep rooted though, bro. It's so much more deep rooted because we have issues with our identity. We have so much issues with our identity. As black people, we have so much issues with identity. And it's like, I'm not trying to throw the fucking race card in there, but I'm fucking black. Everything is the fucking race card. Like, you're black in America, everything's the fucking race card, because that's what it is. And it's like, it's crazy because even with me knowing that my daughter is the most expensive jewel I can ever fucking have. Like, that's literally my legacy walking and talking, bro. Like that's literally the illest person I know in my life. You feel me? Like, but I still somehow fall into these things where like I see this as art. I see this as dope, but I also see this as a target on my back. I see this as exposure that maybe I don't want or need. But I also see
T-Pain talking about jewelry.
Huh?
Did you ever see T-Pain talking about jewelry?
No.
How he's basically going on about that. How it makes you a target, it makes you robbable. He says, "Don't wear jewelry in L.A. It's the most robbable city."
And it's like, and that's another thing. Also, like, don't get it twisted. Like, anyone can get it. Anyone. Like, don't let any nigga feel like, yo, nigga, I'm not. Anyone could get it, and understand this shit too. Like, it's more of understanding that you don't know what that man's demons is. You don't know what that chain means to him. You don't know what that shit is to him. But still, with me knowing that, right? Still with me understanding that, right? It also to the point where you work hard for certain things. I've been on certain tours. I've sold merch. I've done a lot of things to get to this place, and I want to get nice things, right? And even with that mindset of it, though, I also have to understand that we're in a situation where this means more, because this means more of me being accepted in certain circles in the world, and to the point of being accepted in society, because this represents money or power. And people don't understand that. Why does this have to represent money and power? Why can't I just represent money and power? Why can't I be this? Like, I was talking to my man, me and my man Amir. We spar a lot. Very smart gentleman. And we was talking, and there was a joint when he was like, "Yo, you got to understand that everyone can't go." And he's just talking about when it comes to the point of you reaching that next level of success and like that. He was like, yo, you just know. He's like, just know, bro, everyone can't go. And I said, well, the problem is, why does everyone have to go? And he said, what do you mean? Like, I'm like, the difference between everyone can't go with us is like, okay, people that are not in situations that, you know, a lot of other people in, like to the point of like people that are in poverty and fucked up situations. When those people don't go, like let's say a dude gets a regular fucking job, has a white dude get a regular fucking job, kids, wife, family, boom, he survived, right? He's perfectly fine. He didn't have to become a basketball player. He didn't have to become a fucking rapper. That's perfectly fine. But when it comes necessarily to us, when you say everyone can't go, when everyone doesn't go is because they feel like the alternative is like literally the trenches. Everything is fucked up. So if you can't go, it feels like I fucking die in a way. It feels like I don't survive.
That's what you think our culture perpetuates.
We very much so, because it's just to the point where like, yo, like, why can't I be seen in the same respect as someone that just came home from college and takes care of his kids and a great father? Why can't I be the same respect as someone that works at Home Depot that takes care of his kids and great? Why can't we show the same respect for anyone that just necessarily is surviving? Why do we have to have certain things to necessarily? And the funny thing about it is, what we're the biggest in America. Black people are the biggest consumers. If you want to go to the hood, if you want to find any of the most latest or the most expensive and newest things, you go to the hood to find it. We're the biggest consumers, but for some reason our money can't even circulate twice in our community. And it's like, I've been doing, and just to bring it back to that tweet, I'm doing all of this shit, but this, you on, nigga. So none of the other shit I did, yeah, it's cool, but that shit real. Like,
that's crazy.
And it's just like, damn, like that shit hit all. And it's like also like, I put my logo on it and I put my brother's name in lights. Like that's something to me. And like, I think I'm something before this, but in all honesty, can this get me in different rooms? Does this change how people look at me? It does. It's one of the records on Lost City. It's crazy. I said, I'm not ashamed. I'm out here with my chain tucked around some killer niggas. Know that they ain't much. Knowing if it's on one movie get raised up, get a line to your crib, one movie get blazed up. My youngin' said I'm bugging. Niggas out here respect you and love you. My reply is, nigga, you better have some respect for the hunger. Cause everybody fooled when your daughter ain't got no supper. Coulson's pop one and now they sending shots at your mother. The shit is wicked. And that shit is the realest shit because, bro, I don't feel no type of way of tucking my chain. You know why I don't feel no type of way of tucking my chain? That's equivalent to like going outside when it's fucking raining. I'm gonna bring an umbrella. I'm gonna prepare for the weather that I'm gonna understand the temperature. I don't feel pussy for that because I understand that there's nothing pussy about protecting your jewels or saving your family or keeping yourself and keeping your eyes open to see where niggas is coming from because they want what you want. Any nigga that feels that, yo, you pussy for tucking your shit, you're the dumbest nigga I know. Get the fuck away from me. Because I have no problem with expressing who I am or knowing who I am. And I have no problem with necessarily knowing that if this man necessarily needs this to survive, fam, take it because I got something to get home to. No matter what. Real shit.
Real fucking shit, bro. Bruh.
That's crazy.
That was fucking beautiful, bro. I'm glad you got us that early leak at that lyric, bro, because that was some real freaking shit, bro.
Love.
OD. I got one final question with you just to finish this off. And because you've had a pretty long career at this point. You've won some real shit, obviously, as we just discussed. What is your proudest moment and just like accomplishment to this day? Or just something that really made you feel the happiest? And I ask this just because it's like important to just other artists coming up, just like know what really would make you happy in the long run. Like something that really keeps you proud related to, you know, your career as an artist.
My daughter likes one of my songs.
Only one.
Probably. Yeah.
I know for a fact my daughter likes one of my songs.
Which one is that?
Groove, and she does actually like. She likes Groove, and she likes fucking West Side Highway. That's it.
I'm gonna ask you a follow-up just because a lot of artists don't have daughters or just, you know, children. What's another one?
I don't know.
That was a good one though. I'm not taking that away from you.
That's it.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's it.
You think your answer would have been different before you had a kid?
Nah. You know why? Cause when I had a kid, I was already doing music, and it was go time, and I still chose to do music. I think it became more serious than ever when I did that, because once I had a child and I knew how to provide, it showed everyone how serious I was about it. Like even like with like even my mom. Like I fucking like me and my bro put up like 30 bands. Like to create our own studio.
Mm-hmm.
And like this is why I have a kid here. I'm really moving trying to get this bread, and I still chose to invest in this. So I knew she's a big reason what made me feel serious about this.
Yeah.
So
Damn.
Okay. Yo, I appreciate you coming.
Yo,
Appreciate
thank you,
you,
SteelyOne,
Yeah.
bro. I've always wanted to meet you. This is my first time meeting you, bro. And I'm proud of this.
love, appreciate you.
Thank you for coming out, bro.
Real quick, could you tell the people where to find you on social media?
Yo, you can find me on SteelyOne 914.
Boom.
On everything. Also, necessarily, if you want to get a Lost City, go to SteelyOne.com. You can cop exclusive merch. Also, necessarily, that's it. Lost City comes out January 14th. Make
Facts.
sure y'all get that.
Yeah.
Love.
It's out.
Yeah, it's
So
already
get
out.
that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. Facts. Yeah,
exactly,
that shit
yeah.
is fire.
Love.
Yeah. Yo, so if you enjoyed the interview, well, first of all, thank you for making it this far. If you enjoyed the interview, please hit it with a like. And if you're an artist watching this, please join the community. You know, we're trying to build this community to be a group of like-minded artists who are all supporting each other, pushing each other, and helping each other grow. So tap in and
And come
that's
to
what it
the
is.
event too, bro. Shout out to the event.
Yeah,
that
next
shit was
event,
fire.
January 18th,
gotta
28th.
be
Yeah, January 28th. Another showcase. Don't know the details yet. We will get those figured out. By the time this comes out, the details will be out though. And yeah, we good.
I bet.
Facts. Appreciate you.
See
We
y'all
out.
there.
Yo, Sean.
Bow.